Joe, what it do? Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Takeover Show, episode number 11. Sheesh, guys, I'm your host Misa, and as always, I got the squad here with me. Starting to my left, the owner of Duchi's and Next Gen Sports, the very sexy Mr. Choi. Say what's up.
What up, guys? How we doing? Back at it.
We're doing good, dude. You look a little tired today, Chui. We'll get into it right now.
Popping too much popcorn out there.
Well, you heard his voice already, guys. On soundboard, we got the very tall and very handsome, our boy Danny Days.
Yo, what's good, guys?
They're off camera and off mic, but shout out to our camera crew, our boy Kevin and our girl Alicia in the building. We do have a couple of live guests, family, of course, my brother Josh and my cousin Oscar. Shout out to them for showing up. Sold out show here, guys. Sold out show. Guys, Halloween's right around the corner, all right? Right around the corner, so what a better way to have an episode but to invite the owner of Paso Ghost Tours, the very brave Mr. Leon.
What's up?
Good, welcome, Mr. Leon.
The very brave.
The very brave, yeah. We'll get into that pretty soon, but before we get this started, please, guys, if you guys are watching, listening, please make sure you guys are following, subscribing the Takeover Show. All of our stuff is going to be at the caption below. But yeah. One thing, thank you one more time, Mr. Leon, man. Thank you for showing up today. It was great. It's been great so far. We were invited to be over at one of your tours on Friday, this past Friday.
Yes.
It was something, I didn't know what to expect. We'll get into it some more. But for those who may not know who you are, Leon, can you please kind of introduce yourself a little bit here?
Right on. My name is Leon Baker. I'm the owner of El Paso Ghost Tours, like you said. And I've been doing it for 12 years. Yesterday, actually.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Sheesh, 12 years, dude. I couldn't even last 12 minutes that Friday. That's great, man. That's awesome. We were asking, I thought you were from El Paso and stuff just because of how much history and all the knowledge you have of our city. But you were born and raised in Alamogordo, right?
Right. I was born in Alamogordo. My old man worked at White Sands.
All right, right.
He had one of those creepy jobs up there.
Oh, he never talked about it.
Don't tell nobody.
You can't talk about it. He knew Bob Lazar. Oh, wait, Bob Lazar wasn't even there. But
never know.
Yeah, you actually never know nowadays. But so you ended up, you lived over in Alamogordo like most of your upbringing?
No, actually left there when we were pretty early. Had something to do with the KGB. So we had to leave.
Damn.
Oh, that's another story. Yeah, it was back in the 60s, late 60s. So KGB was quite active. And so we had to leave, move to a small town in Kansas. So we lived in Kansas, then we lived in Georgia, then South Carolina, and Montana. And that's when I joined the military. So then they bounced me a couple other places. Yeah, I got to live in Hawaii, though, so I can't complain.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, you were raised, obviously, in a military family because of your dad. And then you joined. Oh, wait, was he military now, right?
I mean, back in the day he was, but... it was more like my mom's running from the law.
Oh, wow. So that's interesting. I mean, if you don't mind, let's get a little bit into that. You don't really hear a lot of stuff like that, but was it a rough upbringing in your opinion?
Oh, yeah, dirt poor all the time. But we got to have new friends all the time because we'd have to pick up and move again.
So you could burn bridges if you wanted to.
Yeah. He could be whoever he wanted in the new city. That's cool. So eventually you moved into El Paso.
Yep.
You worked for Border Patrol, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're now retired. You're doing El Paso Ghost Tours. What I want to know is, how did all this get started? How did this, doing ghosts and in the history of El Paso and all that, how did that get started? Did you go through something happened to you? Or what's the story with that?
To get me started on this actual track, I guess, with the El Paso Ghost Tours, I went on a tour.
Oh,
and
nice.
I was looking for something to do. And that's when we used to do it on Thursday nights, Friday nights, and like every other Saturday.
Just a regular thing?
Yeah, and I went on the first one, and the whole time I'm trying to figure out how in the hell they fake this stuff.
Oh shit!
Like, we're using a very it's like a very rudimentary form of the spirit box. Made a lot of noise, but we're getting answers, and the answers actually correlated to the questions. and we asked one of the spirits, or they asked one of the spirits, what do you like to drink? And he said whiskey.
Oh shit!
And I was like, all right,
Me too.
We could be friends. We're gonna be
I
friends.
got a lot of friends on the other side. And so
How long ago was this?
this is probably 12 and a half years ago, maybe 13.
And that was like one of your first experiences?
No, that wasn't my first experience, but I mean, that was the first one I could not deny that something happened for sure that I could see.
The facts were there.
Yeah, I mean, everything. I mean, we're in the DeSoto, right? We're on the first floor, and we're going to go down these stairs that are kind of in the back, and so they're giving us a safety briefing.
For those that don't know, what's the DeSoto?
The DeSoto Hotel is the kind of rundown hotel that burned down.
Yeah, that's where the demon lives.
Yeah, that's one of the demons live there. Probably still there. And so, I mean, we're standing in the hallway and we're looking down the hallway and we're hearing noise down there. And so the tour guides are getting excited. They're like, man, we should include this floor as part of the tour instead of just heading straight to the basement. And so all of a sudden we see this shadow person. It's like a full shadow of a person without a person attached to it. And it wasn't like on the wall. It was standing by itself, like it leaned out of this doorway and just looked at us for
Just staring at you?
Yeah, for like 3 seconds. 3 seconds is an eternity when you're looking at something like that. And I'm standing there with my camera like this in front of me, and I was in such shock that I forgot to take a picture.
Oh shit!
Like I didn't take it. I was like, well,
dude.
guess they
Like, what were you
exist.
thinking? Like,
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah,
what was
when
going? Because like
when you saw that, like,
normally somebody would get scared out of their mind if they see something like that. But what was it in you that you're like, yo, dude, I want some more. I want some answers. Like, what's going
that's
on?
Exactly it. I mean, I didn't believe in those things. I thought people had talked about. Because I used to listen to this AM radio show in the super late at night called Art Bell. Ghost to Ghost is my favorite one. It is on Friday nights. And it is coast to coast, all the conspiracy theories and stuff, and it's just fun to listen to. But then I was listening to the Ghost to Ghost ones on Friday nights, and they were terrifying. And I was just, I'd be sitting out there on the border in the dark,
just
turn
listening?
all my lights on, the brights, the fog lights, the overheads. And whatever
He goes
comes
and
up to
turns
me,
his
I'm
car
like,
lights on too.
yeah, everything, man. I was just like, holy crap. And
bro.
but I was in that. I saw it, and I was just in shock. We all were. We're just like, wow. I guess everything they're doing here tonight's real. And I mean, it took a while to wrap my head around it. And after that, I had to go on all the tours. So I went on tour after tour. Started building my own equipment.
And by this time, you're already here in El Paso. You're already living here.
Yeah, I'd been here for probably, I don't know, 10 years already, something like that, 10 or 12 years.
So it's safe to say that you believe in ghosts. Like, you're not a skeptic trying to debunk like what you've seen before. Like, it's mostly like, I believe and I want.
He's trying to get evidence of it.
I'm a skeptic.
Okay.
So not everything that goes bump in the night is going to be a ghost. It's not me.
It's a ghost.
That was a ghost.
that was a ghost.
Ghost, if you're in here, join us. Grab a mic.
If that's you, turn your phone off.
That's you. Turn your phone off. Yeah, and you know what? That's something that I really appreciated on Friday when we went. And I was talking to my brother Kevin. Ended up going with me with my other little brother Seth and our friend Carrie. And there was a time where we were downstairs at the basement on the Gateway Hotel.
The Gateway, yeah.
And you had told everybody, hey, if you guys are taking pictures, with flash, you guys are gonna see a lot of orbs, And when you said that, I'm thinking like, dust. Oh, this guy knows, And right away you said you put up a flashlight and you said it's gonna be dust.
Yeah.
So right there and then I knew like this guy isn't trying to fool us, Like he's trying to be sincere about what he's doing with his job, and I had a great time, man. I felt pretty spooked out. But one of my favorite things that I was telling the guys that I really, really enjoyed, I'm a big history guy.
Yeah.
And throughout the tour, we walked around through downtown. We stopped at different buildings. And you had some great history, like a great history story to tell us about all that. How did that all start? I mean, like I said, you're not from El Paso. And for you to know that much history of our city is awesome. I think everybody should,
It puts me to shame.
It puts me to shame because I thought I knew my stuff.
It's cool with you?
Yeah. I mean, I learned a lot. That was awesome. But how did all that come to? What is it about El Paso that you started?
Well, I started going on the tour a lot, and at the time we would go to 3 different locations, and so instead of pointing stuff out and talking about and the historic things that happened. We had a guy that's really good. His name's Matt, and he was really good with the history part. So as we're walking from one place to the other, you know, and as a side note, 3 places doesn't work in 2 hours or 3 hours, because you get down there, you spend 15 minutes, and the activity starts to pick up, and everybody's starting to get excited, and they're like, "Oh, we got to go to the next place."
Yeah.
But he would, as we were going, he would tell us the history, or he'd tell us the history of the building, and I thought it was very interesting, you know. So when I took over ownership, I decided to do it different and just stick with one place, one really good haunted place that we end at night, you know, at the end of the tour. And so then I was like, well, I need to learn the history.
Right.
So at first I was just saying a lot of the stuff that he said. Then somebody called me out on it. And they're like, actually, that's not true. And I started thinking about it. I was like, man, I don't want to look stupid again.
Right.
You know, these people are paying me to know my shit. You know, so that's when I just started reading books and reading like letters from the, you know, from people to other people that are in the Library of Congress online, newspaper articles, which hardly ever get anything right. You know, you know, the cool thing is the older books, the older history type books, they have the footnotes in them. Mm-hmm. And then they also have these references as to where they got that information. So you can research what they got and see if they did it wrong.
Right, if they put it in the right context or something like that. That was crazy. We walked and we were at this building. I forgot what building it was, but you told us this story about a mayor that had died in 1910 off a fire, a building collapsing, and it's right next to or close to a building where there's like a little mural of a Pancho Villa or something like that, right?
Yeah, there's like a plaque on it.
Like a plaque on there. Mm-hmm. But that's something like that type of history, like, I mean, if one of our mayors died, like around, like at this time, it would be a big deal, you know, a park named after him, or, you know, a street or something like that. I had never heard of this mayor before when he was talking to us about it, let alone how he died. If you can't tell us that whole story about this mayor and the history about that building.
All right, so Mayor Robinson, and this is 1910. The building, it's real hard to find information, like good information as to when the building was built. We know it burned in 1910. Excuse me. And we know it burned in 1910, and that's when the accident happened. And people have to remember that, okay, you know, you get a little facade of bricks coming down on you, it's not going to kill you, it's going to hurt a lot. But these buildings are real thick. They're like 18-inch thick walls, solid brick, and that's how they built them back then. And so when that front of that building came down on the mayor and that firefighter, it was over for them. Like, they were smashed.
How long was he mayor for?
Damn.
I don't even
It
remember.
would have sucked if he just started.
Yeah. And I think it was like his family was there as well.
Yeah.
They watched it happen.
They watched it happen, and the thing is, there was also a firefighter that died that day when the building collapsed. And there's what did you say? There's a park named after him.
Yeah, Todd Ware Park.
Todd Ware Park.
Yeah, it was the very first firefighter to die on duty in El Paso.
So I do have a question. Well, no, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, no, but I do have a question because you're constantly doing like tours. You're experiencing a lot of things. Could you tell us what you consider the most either significant or scariest like experience that you've had?
So I've had a few. We had a very, I guess you could call it scary, because we didn't know how long it was going to last. And it didn't happen to me. It happened to one of my teammates, because I wasn't the owner yet. So it was Art. And some of you guys know who Art is.
Yes.
A lot of you guys watching, if you've been on the tour, you know who Art is. Everybody loves Art. And so we were at Bassett Center. And they have the movie theaters at Bassett Center. And the movie theaters aren't just like set on a slab of concrete. There is a basement underneath that place. And it is massive.
Bro, what's up with these places and basements and shit?
Well, I mean,
Bassett-
it's historical. Like I mean, they have the little tunnels that would go from here to Mexico and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. There's
So-
tunnels all over the place here.
So Bassett has like an under.
Yeah.
Fucking Chewy's
Damn.
thinking raves.
Bro, you know, I'm
Huge.
thinking.
Huge.
Yeah, I mean, these places.
Insane, bro.
Have a whole
They're-
city down there.
Yeah, they're probably. I can't, because it's been a few years. I can't remember exactly everything, all the details, but I do know that each basement or room down there separated by like a cinder block wall, and all the businesses had stairs to go down there. You know, because they go get shoes or whatever, and I got to go in the back to get the shoes. No, they're going in the basement, creepy ass basement.
Damn.
That's where they have to go get them, so they come running back up quick.
No, thank you.
And so Art got taken over by something. And he says he doesn't remember too much of it. It was just kind of a blur. He said he felt like he was kind of
Art?
going in on himself.
But he's such a nice guy, man.
Oh, he was provoking.
Oh no, yeah. No,
He was asking
and that's
for
crazy
it.
because
Yeah.
I went on one of the ghost tours, and that's what I was asking him, like if he knows Art, because I went a couple years ago, and Art was the one like leading us to the tour.
Yeah.
And I'm very skeptical too, just because like some of it does seem theatrical. You know, like some people kind of blow it up a little bit more, and so we were down in the basement and of Del Soto Hotel.
Yeah.
And it's really started to happen when we heard things kind of kicking and like rocks falling. And me, rational person, I'm like, what's an old building? You know,
Right,
things
right.
are going to be falling. So I saw that, and then out of nowhere, it was kind of crazy because I was standing there, and then I felt somebody breathing over my head, and I'm 6'4", so I felt somebody that was way taller, like kind of looking over my head.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to look, but I turned over, and then everybody that was in the group said somebody was standing behind me, and they all flashed their lights. And that's crazy because nobody heard me say that, and for everybody to see that, it really kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
And then that's where they kind of lost me, was they had that spirit box.
Yeah.
And they started asking questions and like things like that. And then it said, it said my name. It said Daniel. And I was like, all right, well, are we going to leave this anytime soon? Like, are we going to stay here? And then it started to die down a little, you know, like it was like a peak and then it came back down.
Right.
And then that's when Art does his provoking. He played the Lord's Prayer backwards with
Right.
like a demon voice and stuff. I was like, all right, now it's definitely time to leave. Like,
Oh,
Because
Jesus.
I was gonna ask you too,
Christ.
like, what's the difference? Like, do you believe in ghosts, or does it kind of coincide with like demons and things like that?
You got a bunch of different things out there, a whole lot. And side note, I think we made mistakes in the DeSoto, because in the beginning we would provoke, we would play the Lord's Prayer backwards, and people were real uncomfortable with it. You know, the reason we were doing it was to flush out anything bad, evil that was trying to hide there, because you would feel the room change. You'd start seeing, more shadows and stuff. When that, when you did that, then it brought it out, because we want to
going.
know what's there. We don't want to guess and say, oh, they're all harmless little kid human spirits.
Fuck.
La, 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 la,
No, it gets pretty
la.
creepy. And then
Yeah.
and then the one part that really got me was at the end, they pray for everybody. So when you
Yeah,
leave, nothing
yeah.
follows you.
Yeah.
But have you ever had anybody call back and be like, hey, there's something going on, like something followed me from
Yo,
there?
what
Yeah?
the hell?
Can you tell us about
I
that?
only, I only made dinner for 4. There's somebody else here.
This guy's not doing the dishes. He's drinking my beer.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like,
No, they-
I mean, that's a
yeah.
dangerous thing to do, right? I mean, for those who believe in stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's something that you can't really play around with too much, because,
Yeah.
like Danny was saying, and you had said it too on the tour, that people did call at one point and let you
Yeah.
guys know.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't happen anymore, but it used to before we started closing it out. Because not only do you close it out with the right words or close to the right words, but you have to have the intention. You have to feel it when you say it. Then it means something to the other side. And so we had a guy that he didn't do it right. He just said the words blah, 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 blah. And he was provoking and everything. One night what happened to him and then is he started choking, said coughing after provoking. And I shot my flashlight at him. You okay, man? And I could see ligature marks on his neck, like somebody had strangled him. Those like vertical bruises, like the red lines when somebody squeezes your neck. And I told him, I said, dude, you got ligature marks, man. Something choked you. He said, yeah, I could feel it. And he was always asking. He
didn't like it?
Yeah, he was
Not his favorite.
the wrong concept.
That was a little too hard, man.
Whoa there,
Not
Joe.
my style.
But he would always mess with these things, So, and that was at the DeSoto. And then we started doing that stuff at the DeSoto, et cetera, et cetera. And what it ended up doing is it created a sort of a spiritual chaos in the place. And that's, up until the end, some nights it was okay. I mean, we had to really stay on the defense there, because I think we called in a bunch of things. I think we brought in, or the things were attracted. And I would say that there are just as many non-human things there than just as many as human spirits.
Okay.
So you just don't do it. We learned our lessons. It's taken time, but we learned our lesson. We're not going to do that stuff at the new place or any other place we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how does somebody
It's like
that,
the station, like they start to just.
I'm thinking these dudes
Look
are
at
gonna.
Chewy.
They're gonna
She's
follow
already
me
getting scared.
home.
You're fine, Chewy.
I'm like, are these dudes gonna follow me home?
I'll follow you
I'm
home.
just trying to watch this.
No, but
Golden State game.
yeah, I was gonna say, how does somebody start or practice or learn about getting into paranormal stuff like this? How does somebody learn about that? Is it like research, or is it just experience? Or?
It's a little of everything. Because the best way to do it is to tag along with somebody that's already experienced, and they'll let you tag along. You don't just go into a building with a freaking K2 or an app on your phone and expect to
What's a K2?
trust yourself.
Yeah.
So the K2 is an electromagnetic field sensor, and it goes from like 0 to 20 milligauss, and it's like kind of like, you know, putting it next to the refrigerator while it's running, and all that electrical energy just
Is that
leaking
what
off
we
of
were
it.
holding that
Yeah.
you gave to everyone? It's so funny because when you give it to us, our buddy Kerry was filming, right? And he was filming the device like this close, and that shit was going off.
Because it was
And he's looking at us like, yo, dude. And right as he's looking at us like, dude, it's going off. And Leon's all like, and guys, please make sure not to put it close to your phone because it's going to go off. And sure enough, he backs it up and it turns off.
not as exciting, but it's more real.
Yeah, actually, there was a time when we were down there, and there was on the back corner, there was some stuff up, and you had put like a flashlight, and then you put like a little toy that starts flashing if it gets moved.
Yeah.
And you also told us that we could go ahead and grab the flashlight, look at it, make sure that, you know, there's nothing fishy about it.
Mhm.
And at one point, you know, you told the spirits like, hey, if you guys are here, turn on the light, you know. And it took a little bit. You asked maybe one more time, and then boop,
Yeah.
light turned on. And then you're like, no, it's. And then, you know what? And I was thinking he's gonna say to turn it off, but he's like, no, make it flicker like a candle or something. And sure enough, you see it dim
No
a little
way.
bit and flicker.
Yeah, because I've heard a lot of things about that. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like how everything, like, it's
the heat.
the heat, you know, like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
starts to compress, you could like open up, so it can't really be a spirit.
Yeah.
But when you start to ask it, and it
Yeah.
exactly when you ask to turn it on, turn it off, or like manipulate the light, like that's kind of where it gets a little like
Yeah,
explain it.
It's, I used to keep the flashlights, like when we first started, I put the flashlight like in my pocket. So now it's warm. Then we go into a basement that's cool. We set the flashlight up, and then it starts to cool. Yes, of course it's going to turn on, you know, because everything's contracting and stuff. But then when the light heats it up, then it would turn off
Compress,
again.
yeah.
So, you know, because everything is expanding, you know, the opposite direction. So now I just keep everything in the case, and I don't put them in my, you know, the ones we use to see if they'll turn on and off. I don't put them in my pocket because I want the temperature to be as close to room temperature as possible when it starts. You know, just, and it's not because
to eliminate that.
yeah, and most people wouldn't even know the difference.
Yeah.
But you know, I want to be honest with myself. You know, I don't want to get excited about some hokey thing that's stupid.
Yeah. Well,
It
I
is-
wanted to ask about the spirit box too.
Yeah.
Like the spirit box, like can you explain how that works for everybody?
Yeah, sure. So the basic way it works, it's a small AM radio, or it could be any size AM radio if you hook it up right. But it's just an AM radio, and the one I use is SB7. You can buy them on Amazon, you know. And but this one is, you know, it scans AM stations really fast. It's adjustable, and I found the sweet spot at 1/3 second per channel.
Okay.
And so it goes all the way up the dial and all the way up the dial, et cetera. Like it doesn't go random, you know. And we listen for the same voice over different frequencies. And the odd thing is we've caught Latin. I think Saturday we were hearing a little bit of Latin in there. It's very close to Spanish, so I wasn't real sure. But one of the people that were there, she went to medical school, and they had to learn some Latin. And she goes, "That's Latin," you know. So she was hearing some Latin in there. We hear German through it, and we've heard Italian, and of course Spanish. But
Yeah, I think we were hearing German that day.
So so my question is, do you really take one words? Because I mean, it could be just like the
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 radio
rhythm, or the rhythm of the words that you can
Yeah.
start to like, oh, it said this or it said that. But do you really take one word as so to speak, like maybe a whole sentence, like more seriously?
Yeah, so sometimes they do spit out short sentences, and the theory on it is they use the voices or the radio signal, like the voices that are already coming through the radio. They'll use those pieces, and they'll put them together, manipulate them somehow, and put them together. I don't know how they do it, but we've heard. I think they said my name a few times, well, a lot of times, and it'd be almost like two people saying it. One would say Lee, on. You know, like two different voices, Lee, on, you know, which I'm like, well, I'll take that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
what are the
I mean,
chances, you know?
I mean, I
when
do get to a
ask 'em.
point when I was first there and I was listening to the radio frequencies. I mean, you know, being a skeptic, I was thinking like, well, of course, there's a bunch of, you know, radio frequencies or radio channels, and
Spanish ones. That's what
you
you're
cross through one and you might hear, you know, a sound or, you know, a voice. But what's crazy is that at one point, Leon was talking about a little boy that he was there. His name was like Ezekiel or something. He was like a 9-10-year-old kid that had died a long time ago.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is he said, Leon was like, hey, Ezekiel, if you're there, are you there? And then I'm thinking, okay, we're seeing all this. I was thinking, it's music or people talking. And then you hear a kid's fucking voice on this shit. And then the first thing that ran through my head was like, bro, I've never heard on the radio or anything a little kid's voice.
Rare.
Rare. So it's rare. And the funny thing is like, he asked again, like, Ezekiel, are you here? And then all I heard behind me was like, yeah, I'm here.
So it wasn't even on the radio.
Hold on. No, well, the funny part is that there is a family there with a kid that was 10 years old and his name was Ezekiel too.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit! I turn around and this kid's just like, I'm Ezekiel. My name's Ezekiel too.
You punch his little kid in the face. He's like, oh, he's here.
But that right there, it's kind of like, oh shit! Like, how do I explain that? Because I was thinking, like, I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of adults always on the radio and stuff like that, but to hear a child's voice.
And that night there was 2 kids.
There was somebody that would curse a lot too. Somebody was calling them puto and whore and like fag or something.
Hey, we're trying to provoke.
Yeah.
We're trying to provoke here.
They're provoking now.
Yeah.
So we weren't provoking or anything. We don't do that stuff anymore. We learned our lesson. We're trying to build up a good rapport with the spirits. And in our experience now is that when we build up a good rapport, then they come out more. And they talk to us more.
So you think they're more receptive to the respectful approach rather than trying to provoke them? Because I think provoking you'd get like that anger.
Yeah, you wouldn't, even with the
hostility,
you wouldn't even get that. They just walk away from you.
Well, why are they there?
Away,
That's always what I wondered. Why are these spirits, or whether it's a ghost or a demon that when people say this place is haunted, why is it that you think when somebody does die, or maybe the way they die, why is it that like they stick around? Why is it that you still hear all these stories of this one ghost popping up all the time?
Well, we found, so we were communicating with this he was a doctor. He passed away like in 1936, I think. And so we were communicating with him, and he would come through. He was a good sport, and it seemed like he was having trouble talking to us because you got to. It's difficult to speak on the spirit box, they say. But this guy, he was doing it. He was, letting us know he was there, calling himself Jim, and something about kids being hurt. And so we're like, oh, you're hurting kids. Okay, I see you're hurting kids. You're a bad guy then. Are you trying to bring dead kids back to life? We're just like
berating him.
Yeah, we're just throwing theories out there to see who he is.
Probably.
But we ended up going, one of our guys went to the library and he ended up finding a hard copy of a newspaper article with this guy, James Augustus Pickett, Jim. And he was the doctor there in that basement, in that building. And he was a pediatrician. Worked with kids. He also did plastic surgeries back in the 20s. So they did it back then too. Not trying to make people look better, just like fixing the cleft lip.
Oh, that's rough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's the kind of stuff he would do. And anyway, he didn't get to finish one of the series of surgeries on this one kid. And I read up on it, and his partner, the other doctor in the office, actually finished the surgeries. So I told Dr. Pickett about that. I said, look, your partner finished the surgeries on that kid that you were working on. And there's a good chance that kid is probably still alive today. He's an old man, but he's probably still alive today. After that day, we didn't hear anything from him.
What the fuck?
So I think he
It's
found
like business, unfinished business. Or something
unfinished
like
business is one reason. Some of them are just plain lost. So they're told to. This is. I know it sounds like I'm making stuff up. We were told by the spirits, because we do it all the time, and we ask questions and we try to learn from them. And we were told by the spirits that they were told to stay there and wait, and something or someone would come and get them when it was their time.
I was about to ask, because I'm not a big fan of. I don't really know about all this.
I'm scared right now because he's like, dude, I can't.
So
I'm working.
I've been wondering, do ghosts travel? Why do they stay in one specific place, and why does it look haunted? 2, do they travel amongst us?
Yeah.
Could one just be chilling? Because I've.
Dude,
I want to go to
I'm not
race.
gonna lie,
it's expensive traveling nowadays, right?
My dog passed away, and I felt like I've seen him, and I'm like, what the fuck? But he's not there.
Yeah, you might have.
I felt him,
They do.
Shit,
hang
I've
around.
never thought about dogs or like animals haunting or like.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you have a loved dog that's in the house, and he's always a house dog or something like that, that dog's going to be hanging around until he figures out that, I'm not alive anymore. I'm not the same as I was, So then they pass on, you know, and
They jumped the fence.
Yeah,
they
because
go over the rainbow bridge for
I
real.
swore, like I walked in the room, right, and then like I was just doing my own thing on my phone, and then I'm like,
Like, was
and
this
I was
when
like,
it
yo,
just
Thor.
happened?
And then this is like about a year after it happened, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I walk over to the couch, and I'm like, dog, I swear,
Because you don't think
I'm
it-
out. You know,
Yeah.
no, I didn't even think about it. Like I went to go continue what I was doing, but I was like, it took me 2 seconds to be like,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
yeah.
That's crazy. I was also gonna ask. Actually, this question was from Kevin that was there as well on Friday. He had asked, does it necessarily have to be like in the dark and at night or somewhere like that? Like,
Oh no,
or when it rains.
no. That's an interesting one. I'll get back to that one. So we've done investigations in the daytime, and we've like I went to the lady's house. We're gonna investigate her house, and as she's giving us the walk around, the walk through, it's like 6 p.m. You know, and the sun's still up. It's still daylight. I wanted to get a good look at the layout and everything, so we get all of our equipment set up, and we would be out of there. You know, right after it got dark, we could do our whole investigation, and not bug the family too long, right? And so what ended up happening was, you know, she's walking us around. I'm seeing shadows just like kind of behind her and stuff. And I went into this one room that they said they had a lot of activity. And so I'm setting all the doors just right because I want to memorize everywhere everything is at. So if anything changed, we know, all right, something changed here. Why did it change? You know, did we catch it on camera? And I went into that room and I just see this shadow into the corner and just vanish, right? It just went
in the middle of the day, dude.
yeah. And I was like, I saw you. I know I saw you.
No, no.
Like you saw it evaporate or what?
Yeah, it just went into the very top corner next to the ceiling, just
Like a ghastly?
yeah, and it was real fast.
He looks down at his
Yeah,
joint.
and that's why I ask you too, because like how he said, does it have to be in the dark? Because I feel like those things kind of set the atmosphere, like it's kind of theatrical, like oh, it's gonna be in the dark, it's gonna be in the quiet, like things like
Yeah.
that. But that's why I asked about the rain, because I've heard a couple things about running water and rain.
Right. So there's a couple of things. So like this time of year, when you got thunderstorms going, thunderstorms are the best because it energizes everything, like electrical energy. Not spiritual energy, electrical energy. It just energizes everything. And activity at the DeSoto, because we really haven't had very much rain, that much, since we've been going to the Gateway for the last year. We had one good one. And
So you're saying today would have been a good day?
no, I think today would have been, because there's no, I mean, I didn't see any
No
lightning.
All mids?
So lightning is what is the key.
Okay.
So you got lightning in the sky. If you're in a haunted place, it's going to be off the hook. Enjoy it.
But what about running water?
Well, when the rain hits the building, it grounds everything out. All of a sudden, the physical or the, I guess like the visual activity, the paranormal activity, all of it pretty much ends. It just grounds it out, and it separates their energy and our energy and the building's energy, and everything just kind of ends. You know, they'll be back. You know, they're not dead now. Oh, look, they're dead.
They're dead. Yeah.
They'll die. They die again.
Dead.
Well, thank God for Aquaman. Dude.
So going back to my question, so are they amongst us?
Yeah, they are. So
Somebody right behind you right now.
I
Too.
thought
They
I
can-
was saying no.
They can actually follow you. They can attach themselves to you, and that's how they get lost. You know, they don't follow the rules, and they attach themselves to a person. They take a ride to your house or wherever. That's how new houses get haunted.
That's so scary. Drew's gonna be looking at his rearview mirror when he's driving,
Yeah.
checking his back seat.
Well, unless they want to have a good time.
El comal.
And they're on
Strikes again.
huevo.
They're on the street. You know, it's just once you have the equipment and you can actually start picking up I guess you could say the vibes, you know, electrical energies and stuff like that. Then you'll start realizing that not all of these electrical energies are from the building right there or the stoplight right there or whatever. This is something different, like Concordia Cemetery.
Oh yeah. I don't know why this reminds me of the movie Ghost. You know how like they're
Yeah.
going around, and they start like harassing somebody as they walk by, and the person
Yeah.
doesn't even know it. Things like that.
yeah.
No, a kind of funny story on that. We were doing a presentation at the El Paso Public Library, and this kid comes up. He's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" He's kind of medicated, you know. And I was like,
He was
we're
Chewy.
ghost hunters, right? We're ghost hunters. And he's like, well, I see dead people. I was like, yeah, okay.
Stop it.
Sure.
I seen that movie, dude.
Definitely medicated.
Yeah, and I was like, sure.
Heavily.
But then somebody had told me about this little girl that hangs out on the upstairs part of the library. And there's like this mini library in the library for like juveniles. You know, it's like a teen reading room type of thing. And she had told me about this little girl that she had seen there like 3 days ago standing in the doorway. You know, a little girl in a white dress, you know, looked like she's about 12 years old. And so I said, yeah, well, there's supposed to be a little girl spirit here, and I'd like to know what her name is. And then he goes, yeah, she's right there. Points right at that door. There's a lot of doors in the place. And he pointed right at that same door. And he wasn't there when that lady told me about it, because it was before we set up, when she told me. And so he said, yeah, she's right there. I said, okay. Well, I'd like to know what her name is, so we don't just call her little girl. And he looked over at that doorway, and he goes, her name's Sharon. So
that's my ex's name.
The little girl.
The ghost.
So we started using the spirit box, like, you know, half hour, 45 minutes later, we started using the spirit box. And I said, if you're here, you know, all that stuff, trying to reach out to this kid, this little girl. And I said, what's your name? And you hear it plain as day coming out of the radio, Sharon.
So have you ever kept in touch with that guy?
No.
Did you ever go back?
He was just like a passerby?
Yeah, he just at that
Dude,
time.
this is why people don't go to the fucking libraries anymore, dude.
Stay out of libraries,
Bigger
kid.
reason. But all right, guys. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break right now. When we come back, I'm going to ask our boy Leon some more questions. We're going to ask him what's in the future for Paso Ghost Tours. We have some trending topics and a lot more stuff coming through, guys. Please make sure you guys are following. Please make sure you guys are subscribing and liking and sharing. And guys, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Right after this. And we are back, guys. Episode number 10. Sheesh. Guys, one more time, and a big shout out to our new friend here, our boy Leon from El Paso Ghost Tours. Leon, it's been fun. A lot of fun, a lot of scary, interesting, spooky stuff, man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight.
Spooky season.
But before we continue, can you let everybody know where they could find you and where they could sign up for one of these tours?
Yeah, sure. We're El Paso Ghost Tours on Facebook, Instagram. And we have a website, elpasoghosttours.com. I don't maintain it. So it's got old information on it, so don't go by that. But it does have the link for tickets. So you can get the tickets there. You can get them through Facebook or Instagram. I got links to it right there.
Yeah, all the links are going to be in the caption below, guys. Make sure you guys are following. We had a great time on Friday. It made me double think about what the hell is really around us. And speaking of, are you a religious guy? Have you been a religious guy? Were you ever really into religion or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've read parts of the Bible. I used to go to church when I was younger, and you know, so I know something's out there. I mean, you know, I was a young man. I was Buddhist. You know.
Oh wow, you Buddhist?
So I never went to a Buddhist church. I just kind of was like that spirituality type of
right.
Studied philosophy, and you know.
Yeah. That's crazy. So did you when you started doing all this? Do you feel like it changed you, like spiritually, or like the way you see things, or anything like that? Yeah,
you know, a lot of people think, the different religions, they think that ghosts are demons automatically, and that a person when he dies either goes to heaven or hell. But then we're sitting here talking to people, you know, that are dead. You know, most of them know they're dead. You know, some don't. So it's kind of hard when you have to break it to them. Right. You know, that's pretty rough.
He's like a doctor. He's like,
I don't know if you know this, but you've been dead for 75 years.
Yeah, it's like you don't have a 6 months to live. It was over with a year ago.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's that's one of those really difficult subjects, you know, because I'm not going to try to convince anybody otherwise. You know, I'm not going to try to convince somebody to go against their beliefs to believe what I believe.
Right.
You know, I just know what I've seen, what I've witnessed. You know, and you know, like we talked about before, I didn't believe in shadows. I didn't believe in shadow people, shadow creatures, whatever. I just thought people that saw them in their house, they're crazy, plain and simple. But then I saw it, you know, and it wasn't just me. It was a bunch of people in the tour at that time that saw it. And you know, now I know what to look for. you know, after all this experience, I know what to look for. Now I know that it's not just a few different things. There's a whole lot of crap out there that we do not understand.
That's crazy, and that's very true. I've always,
Scary.
I mean, like I think we talked about it a couple of episodes ago. Our buddy Danny here, he was saying we were talking about how Halloween, you know, Halloween is coming up, and we grew up in a very tight religious family. We were Christian, raised Christian, so Halloween wasn't a thing, you know. Like you said, you talk about ghosts, it's either an angel or a devil, you know, or a demon or something like that. But being raised like that, I you know, as I got older, I wasn't really into church, but you know, I do believe in a you know, somebody higher than us. But I was always a skeptic about, you know, ghosts and shadows and all that. And honestly, going on Friday kind of really made me kind of open up even more, because back then I would always try and see every detail about it. I never really gave myself the chance to kind of see it. You know, I just always thought like, no, it's fake, or, you know, people, or maybe, you know, the guy hasn't slept enough and he's tripping or something like that. But I think once people give themselves a chance to see it and then evaluate it after they see something, I think then maybe they start questioning themselves, and like I did after that day. And I was like, you know, the whole flashlight thing and the hearing the kid on the radio frequency thing, it was crazy. And I just remembered our buddy Kerry was there, and when we were doing the radio frequency, you have this thing where you do like a card game with the spirits. Mm-hmm. And fucking Kerry ended up losing $5 to a spirit, dude.
Damn. He better pay up.
He did pay up.
Better pay up.
He did pay up, dude. We were walking
Leon
to
put it in his pocket. He's like, yeah, I'll give it to him.
we were walking to our
You'll get it.
vehicles, and then I was like, it just hit me, and I looked at Kevin and Carrie and my brother Seth, and I was like, yo, fucking Carrie's just lost $5 to fucking a spirit, dude.
A motivated spirit.
He's got a gambling problem.
Back then, that was $100.
That's a lot of money.
And I took it, like, after everybody left, I folded it and I stuck it in between like this the brick and this pipe, so you can't see it.
Leon's like, I folded it up and then handed it to the guy that's selling hot dogs, and I got myself a nice little hot dog.
I ain't taking that money. I'll have a pissed off ghost looking for me.
And that's the thing too, like how he talked about how ghosts could like attach to you and they get angry, and you could hear it, man. You could hear when these like ghosts are angry, or they don't like us calling them ghosts, right? Or like demons. You told us that night for us to say that they're spirits.
Yeah, they like to be called spirits. That's what they told us. They would rather be called spirits.
I got another thing, man.
Fucking spirit.
And this right here. I'm talking to those that are watching. If you're from El Paso and you're watching, man, look, we were out there on a Friday night. I know people out there. People like to go out on the Friday night and have a good time. But God bless, man. Pórtense bien a la chingada, guys, because there's a fucking few people out there that fucking interrupted our shit. Yes, dude, fucking boo these people, man. There's a vehicle, a car with like some chicks in it. You can tell they're super drunk, and they're like, "What the hell are you all doing? Y'all are fucking weird." Like, what the fuck? And then they go around the block, and then again the girl in the front, like different girl, like, so what are you guys doing? You know, like, and we're like,
you're not invited.
A ghost tour, you know. And then at one time, and I'm gonna post it, dude. I'm gonna put this guy on blast. This guy fucking just stopped and interrupted in the middle of our thing, and he's all like, hey, if this is all you guys are all talking about, the God and stuff, let me tell you something, man. I just got arrested and I went to court and they dropped that shit, man. All thanks to God. And then while he's saying this, we're like, dude, this motherfucker is wasted and he's driving, you know? Like,
not even close to the light.
It's like, you're about to get arrested again.
The light he was like half a block away from the red light. You
and
know?
the light turns green.
And he's still there.
It's funny that it wasn't like a spiritual encounter. It was just like, my court got dropped. Yeah. I love God.
Yeah, and he was saying, so if this is it, if this is, you guys are thanking God. And I was like, yo, man, this is a ghost tour. And he's like, oh, the Holy Ghost tour. But yeah, man, guys,
the Holy Ghost.
If you guys are listening, man, fucking behave, dude. God. Behave.
Let people
man.
be.
Oh, that was funny, though.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Does that happen quite often?
That was the first night anybody stopped their car and yelled at us.
Okay.
I mean, and three cars did it.
3 cars did it that
one night. It's because they recognized you, bro.
Well, it's because also there was they probably saw the bandana. I was like, is that Misa? Hey, yo. But no, also that night there was a lot of people in that group that we were in, man. It was a pretty packed place, and it was fun. I mean, I think that's why they saw a big group of people, and it looked like we're over here doing Bible study and shit, you know. But come on, who's gonna do that on a Friday night, doggy?
You know what's crazy? And I think it was really sad when I did the ghost tour. They were doing the same thing, taking us to certain spots, reading the plaques and telling us the history.
Yeah.
We were a huge group.
Yeah.
Giant. And as we went to each spot, people started to kind of fizzle out and leave the tour. And personally, I liked it because when we got to the De Soto Hotel, it was very few. So like we were able to move around comfortably and things like that. So does that still kind of happen?
Yeah, I try to keep the groups at 30, 30 and below. You know, Halloween's different, you know, because a lot of people that come in Halloween, you know, they just want the jump scare. They want something to do. You know, they show up drunk, you know, whatever. You know, just like, you know, do you do you. I don't, you know, I'm not trying to convince you that ghosts are real or anything like that. I'm just like, you just have a good time. Don't disrupt anybody. You know, enjoy yourself. You really want a good time, you go in the off season. And that's when the groups are smaller. I prefer smaller groups. You know, I don't do this for the money. I don't do it for the money. I got bills I got to pay for it. You know, the business does. But I would rather have smaller groups. You know, I'd rather have like 5 or 6 people.
Oh, damn.
Because that's when it's fun. I personally think the ideal size for me is about 12.
Yeah, you get more of a one-on-one talk and stuff like that, and people could hear you.
Yeah.
That's good, man. I think you're doing a great job. The fact that thanks. The fact that
scratch his leg.
I was scratching my ankle and he helped me finish it off. Thank you. But that's true, bro. That's a true friend right there, man. Duchis, guys, right here, man. I'm posting it up right here. Duchis. But yeah, I really liked the whole history, man. I want to bring that up. I've always said, and I've said it on a few episodes before, I think El Paso schools should have some class, at least either in middle school or in high school, that really talks about the history of our city. That way people grow up to appreciate our city and if anything, maybe do something to make it better, because you see a lot of people coming in from out of town and changing things up, and I think if people knew the history of El Paso and what it took to become what we are now, I think they'd be proud of it. And I mean, there's a lot of crazy first things, you know, like from Pancho Villa to fucking mayor in 1910 dying and shit.
Yeah, no, the history is very rich here in El Paso.
Yeah, there's a very rich place.
Beyond what people know.
Yeah, I misunderstood you. I thought you meant a ghost class. I was like, oh,
Ghost,
shit,
right?
what the hell? No,
so I do have. I thought about it. I was like, no, it's history, but no, it's not really geared towards specifically El Paso. It's, you know, the U.S. history.
I do agree that El Paso, we should have at least like a 30 minutes to an hour of El Paso.
Yeah,
history,
like at least one class, like one class to where like they teach you when, like, Chewy, where's that picture from his shirt? Where is that?
Takes off the sunglasses.
The one downtown where the fountains are, in between like the museum.
Oh, what was that building used to be, or what is that?
I'm gonna go with El Paso High, but I think it's the downtown museum. Where the
You see, that's why it's so embarrassing when you know, people don't know there's shit like that. That was the ranch, right?
You just put Chewy down like that.
But
I was using him as an example.
He's like, is that district?
No, but going back to that, once I met this dude, I know
that's Southern Park Mall.
I know more local facts and like history, and I'm like, what the fuck, for real? Like today I learned that Bassett Center has tunnels with one thick
basement. Yeah,
right now.
It's huge.
It's huge.
And
What
the
was
thing
your
is,
question?
like this building right here was on El Paso Street.
Right.
So it started right around, I guess where the Hotel Paso del Norte is, and stretched. You know, over time they built onto it. I mean, it was there for a while. They think
Fort Bliss used it for a while, didn't they?
Fort Bliss didn't use it. It was the street. Well, kind of. The Army kind of used it. So the Army rented that land from Benjamin Franklin Coons.
What's the name of that building?
They call it the Old Adobe. Even back in the 1800s, they called it the Old Adobe. They finally tore it down. Oh God,
So
probably.
you didn't even know.
Yeah, so they probably tore it down like in the not even late 1800s, early 1900s. They finally tore it down. You know, early 1900s, I believe. So I haven't been able to find the exact information. You got to dig deep for those details.
Yeah,
I think there's one more building downtown. I think one of the buildings downtown that has the original, like wood and original stuff like that. I think it's like, I think they have a plaque right there, but it was like I have no idea what it used to be, but if you really look at it, the way it's formed or the way it was built, like you can definitely tell like it's original.
Yeah, that's Dave's Pawn Shop.
Dave's Pawn Shop,
Yeah.
exactly.
Dave's
Write it down,
Pawn
bro.
Shop.
No, it's because there's a
Dave
church
Punch Out.
too. I've passed by it walking in Juarez. It's Saint. Can't remember. It's right there by the zoo, but there's a plaque on it, and it says like 18 something or
Yeah, like the McGoffin home.
like.
It's like super old. You
I
know,
was
like,
like, what
Oh,
the
yeah.
hell?
but like a lot of history, kind of like Pershing, right? General Pershing.
Yeah.
Right? Like the streets named after him. He was and then somebody else that's very known around that was a slave owner.
Wait, go back. What's Persian?
Is that
General Pershing.
General Pershing.
John Pershing. They called him Blackjack Pershing.
Blackjack.
And
There's a big statue of him in front of.
Pancho Villa.
And-
Del Norte?
Damn.
you know why they called him Blackjack?
No.
Because he was in charge of Buffalo Soldiers.
Black soldiers.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy, man? Like nicknames, and then that,
They
and then
haven't
when you
caught up
learn
with
the
that one
history
yet.
of that, you're like, damn.
At least that's what I read in a couple of different sources.
So I do have a question because you said that you've gone to different places to do the tours. What's one place that you haven't gone that you're really keeping your eye on?
You know, of course, El Paso High. Of course.
The high school.
I don't think we're ever going to get in there.
Why?
You know, they don't want anything to do with ghost tours.
So they don't want to associate themselves
Yeah,
with being
'cause it's a
haunted.
school.
Well, what about
That's
like an
hard.
investigation like you guys do? Would they be open for you guys to go and do like some type of like ghost
We'll do it.
investigation
Be
or,
the first ones.
or something like that? Maybe not a tour to where you bring people, a lot like a bunch of people wanting to see, but maybe for you guys just to see or see something like that.
Yeah, I would like to investigate it. You know, there's a lot of stories out there, and which stories are true and which ones aren't. I want to lay it to rest. You know, I want to find out, is it really haunted? I mean, I've heard so many stories from people.
Yeah, I've been there.
You know what? We're gonna help you make that happen. We're good friends
We'll be
with our
there.
friend.
We'll be
no,
there
we're good friends with our friend Mark Paz, who used to be the principal there at El Paso High.
Oh yeah.
He works for the independent school district now. But when we interviewed him in our last podcast, he did tell us that he did see some stuff that while he was in his office, one of his pictures moved just out of nowhere, and he's just tried to stop thinking about it. But he did hear that there's always like this big story about this. They see this young girl.
Cheerleader.
There's this girl on top of some balcony that's now closed, and they always see her there. And I asked him about that story, and he said that she ended up killing herself on that balcony because her boyfriend at one time was a football player, and he ended up accidentally ran into the goalpost, broke his neck, and died there at El Paso High School.
Yeah.
So she became super depressed, ended up killing herself, and that's what people see, man, and that's crazy, but we're gonna do something, man, because that's all you hear. I mean, you see a bunch of videos, especially on FitFam. Shout out to FitFam, by the way.
Fam. Triple horn
To FitFam.
They go super hard. But going back to the El Paso High, I went there for summer school, and we went deep in there, but we didn't find anything. But we did sneak in one time. And
He's always going deep, dude.
He's always going deep,
dude. If it ain't deep, you don't see
ain't
Chewy
there.
in it, dude. He ain't
Anyways,
there.
He ain't there.
We were fucking around as teenagers at Roberts Elementary School. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one.
Roberts.
On the west side.
Yeah, over by Thorn.
Yeah.
That one exactly. And we went inside the school grounds and we went around the building. And my friend said he looked inside the
You can't see
the
me.
windows, and he said he saw a bunch of children's clothes just all over the floor,
Yeah.
And he's like, "Come here," and I was like, "Fuck that!" And as I was walking over there, all I hear is slashing, like a chain slash on the metal door, like
Blackjack.
hard. And I was like, "No, I'm out of here." And my friend Andrew was like, and I dipped it and I jumped the fence.
That's fucking scary,
It
dude.
got too deep.
I've
Too deep.
I don't know.
I've heard a lot of
dipped.
stories
I
about a
dipped.
lot of schools around
I
here.
dipped hard,
Yeah.
bro, and I just didn't. I waited on the side of the street for them, bro. I don't know. They came running. They hopped the fence, scared as shit. So I was asking, you ever been there?
I know that's when my daughter went there, and I drive by it sometimes, and you just get a vibe driving by that place.
So you do have your hunch about it?
Yeah. And I've been in places that they say were haunted, and I'm like, nah, it's really not that much. Like the Stanley Hotel, everybody's like, oh, it's so haunted, and I stayed in room 401. I stayed in the room, and yeah, it's got a little activity. There's a little tiny bit of activity.
Yeah.
The whole place is you have to, like, I went on a ghost tour there. Very expensive ghost tour, by the way. But I went on a ghost tour there, and if they didn't say, well, like if I wasn't experienced, I would have sworn that nothing happened. But I had my feelers out, and I said, okay, this certain thing, this vibe isn't quite right. Somebody touched me on top of my head, and little things like that. Just somebody, I think they tugged on my shirt.
Oh, hell no.
Just real slight, and I was like,
bunch of grab
I
asses.
think sometimes
Yeah, what was your
the
reaction?
reputation of the place carries more weight than the actual place itself.
yeah,
Like Concordia Cemetery, like I remember, again, might be incriminating myself here, but we didn't go on a tour. It was just like a regular Thursday or Wednesday night, and we had some people from out of town, and I was like, well, we got to go to Concordia Cemetery just to drive by.
Yeah.
And they convinced me. They're like, hey, let's get off. Let's go in. And I'm all thinking about like, no, like I don't know if the ghost, I'm scared, but I was like, oh no, we'll get in trouble, like,
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, let's go, and everybody started getting off, and we were about to hop this fence, and in the distance, I thought my mind was playing tricks on me already, like we see a figure, and then it started to move, and then it faces us, like you could see it go from like one way to another, like side profile, then faces us, and we all get scared. We look at each other, and then you see a red little dot.
Somebody smoking.
He was smoking a cigarette, and I'm like, I think that's the security. Let's get out of here. I'm being all paranoid. And the person starts to walk towards us, and I'm like, oh shit. And then it walks up, and then they walk around, and it's this homeless person. He looks at us, smoking a cigarette, jumps a fence, and then runs across the street. And I'm like,
that's even weirder.
yeah. I was like, now we definitely can't come in here. Because it's like, yeah, we saw, like, you didn't see a ghost, but you saw something that could hurt you. So let's get out of here.
That's funny.
I was there. It was almost noon, and I was there, and I was waiting for the guy named Chris. He kind of runs the cemetery. He does some of the investigations there and stuff. And we were, I was walking around. I was just kind of taking notes. I had some notes already, and I'm trying to map everything out because we're going to do a tour there. And it was like the one time we tried to do it that wasn't very. It did not. Let's put it this way: I paid a lot of money out of pocket to take other people there. And anyway, I was there. It was like noon, and there's a couple people walking around, and I'm taking note of everybody walking around. And I see this one guy. He just caught my eye for some reason. I see him. He's walking all the little roads there, right? And he's walking not towards me, but kind of sort of my direction, southbound. And he goes behind this bush, and he's gone. I was like, all right, where'd he go? Like, he didn't come out the other side of the bush. And I actually made an effort to kind of walk around to see another angle of the bush to see where the hell the guy went, because he didn't go on a road this way. There wasn't one. So I talked to Chris when he got there, and I said, hey man, do you see them in the daytime out here? Because he was telling me about the different spirits that he sees out there all the time. It's like usually the same ones walking. And I said, well, I saw one. I think I just saw a guy walk behind a bush. And he goes, what was he wearing? And I said he was wearing like a 1970s orange and blue plaid shirt, like a Western shirt back in the day. Like your Tio would wear,
Tio.
And he goes, oh yeah, I call that guy Juan.
With a Modelo in his hand. He has a Modelo in his hand.
Right?
That's a 40.
Juan would be a ghost.
Get the taco.
Yeah.
Chuntaro boots. But yeah, I was like, oh, okay. I said I didn't think you'd. So I guess it's active all the time. And he's like, oh yeah, all the time. Like even in the daytime. Sometimes you cannot tell the spirit from a real person. I saw one at the 7-Eleven near my house.
Wait, what do you mean?
He was meeting up his plug at 7-Eleven.
You actually saw a figure with the Tio's shirt on?
Yeah, like a.
That's
Yeah.
my mom.
Chewy's hating this episode right now, man.
And then
You can spend the night at my house if you want, way. You're gonna be okay.
Second
Yeah.
question
And
is-
he's right. No, hold on. He's right, because I remember while we're doing the tour, maybe like an hour and a half into it, we were walking. And earlier that day, while me and my brother Kevin were looking for parking, we saw this like old man, all dressed in black, and he was wearing like a hat that's like
Undertaker?
flat. Dude, yes, exactly like the Undertaker, but he looked more like the Jeepers Creepers
What
style, and he's walking like slowly across the street. We're like, that's fucking creepy, right? And then so like an hour and a half into the tour, we're walking down, one of the streets in downtown. And I see the same guy, and he's like in the corner, like of some like vacant building on the sidewalk, and he's just like this. Just sitting down.
I was going to say, it took him an hour and a half to get there.
Yeah, well, he was actually going the other way when we last saw him, but we saw him there, and I had to ask people like, dude, you see that guy too, right? Like after we had gone through all the stuff, after a little bit, I was telling people like, hey, you know that guy? And I went up to Leo and I was like, hey, you see that guy too, right? And Leo was like, oh yeah, man, that guy's a regular around here, you know. It's like he dresses up to scare the tourists.
Or that's like he lives like that.
Yeah, he's one of those street people, you know. He's got a place that he lives. So there's a bunch of people downtown. They live in the buildings, and you know they rent, you know, the little apartments, the studio apartments, like little crappy places, you know. And I mean, it's all they can do. Yeah. You know, they're on disability and everything, and you know, so but all they do is walk around downtown. Like that.
I mean, that's all you could do really at that time. I mean, it's not like you're gonna see them on TikTok, bro.
Yeah.
You know, but before we move up to our like the back end of our podcast, I wanted to ask, in your opinion, in all the places that you've been here in El Paso, in your opinion, which one's the most haunted, or something that you know for a fact like there's always activity there?
So, of course, the DeSoto, right? You know, we're not going to get inside there anytime soon. It burned, and they're fixing it back up. It's completely unsafe, and but it probably still has activity, even though it burned. It probably still has activity. Now,
why did it burn? Like crackheads? They blamed it on crackheads?
They don't.
Yeah,
the official
no idea.
word was they don't know. You know, I have my
Ghost.
suspicions. So, yeah, probably not ghost.
yeah, some crackhead trying to light his pipe up.
Yeah, and then or some Edgars, you know.
Yeah, that's
Edgar strikes again.
There's one over there. Look, I see him. He's sitting down way over there. You see him over there? Send me Edgar.
But I mean, the gateway is really, really, really good to us. You know, it's got a lot of activity. Even the people that live upstairs have they've seen the little kids running around and all kinds of different things, right? So now you got, of course, other buildings that have reputations that we haven't really been into. So those two that we have dealt with, those are definitely the most haunted ones in town.
That's something that we got to go and do a vlog on, Chuy. And Chuy's going to lead us down.
Chingas. Honestly, I was going to ask, besides El Paso, Cruces, Phoenix, Albuquerque, somewhere out of El Paso, like somewhere in the southwest, that has spooked you? Like you're like, oh, I got to come back.
Yeah, you know what? The Amador in Las Cruces has some activity. I mean, right now it's over by the Doña Ana County Courthouse, that old 1930s courthouse, the jail.
Yeah.
That's got activity. So, and they will open their doors to you. You know, they do tours there all the time. They do all kinds of special events there. So you have to look it up. You want to get inside that place and witness what it has to offer, go there. Okay. You know, I know it's on it.
I think you guys should try out. A couple of years ago, I found out that.
My Diaz house.
yeah. No. Oh man, what was it? Pancho Villa's stash house.
Yeah.
It was sold not too long ago, a couple of years ago, and I'm sure I have a feeling that maybe there's something out there, man.
Everything in El Paso is haunted, man. You know, it just there's like a few houses or buildings that aren't, but geez, everything downtown's got activity.
Is the river haunted?
The river? Oh yeah.
Oh, La Llorona, you hear her out there?
I've never La Llorona. I don't know if I believe in that one, but
that's what I was telling Kevin and them. Like, dude, I hope we fucking see La Llorona or fucking at least fucking Casper the Friendly Ghost or some shit. But
like, what's the most?
We got some other little kid, dude. That shit was scary.
Most unexpected haunted place. You're like, what the hell?
Oh man, I haven't even thought of that in years. I walked into. All right, so I did an investigation on a house, right? I didn't expect much because a lot of times, you know, you go into a house and it's got, you know, bad electricity, bad air conditioning, something, you know, that makes people think it's haunted.
The mold.
Yeah, something, or the chemicals in the house going through the air conditioning system, something.
Like a smell.
Yeah, and in reality, when I walked in that place, my stomach hurt. I just looked at my team. I didn't say anything to owner. I looked at my team like, what the hell is going on here? It was bad, dude. Like, it hurt. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on in this place? I don't know how these people can be here, you know, spend the night here, and they're living here. And we ended up having to take the whole, like, turn off all the electricity and all kinds of stuff to this place, you know, just to try to take some readings on it. Because all of our equipment was spiked out, you know, it was all maxed out. And I was like, I don't know how you guys can live here. It had so much energy in it. I think there was something inside that house feeding on it.
What the hell?
Yeah, and
how does that happen?
Because there was something that was mocking us. Like, we were using the spirit box, and we used a couple different ways to communicate, and ended up it was answering, like one of our guys that asked the question, and myself and our medium, she's an empath, we would both answer.
What's an empath? My bad, brother.
Somebody that can sense people's feelings. They're very, very sensitive. You know, not just feelings, but they can sense not just the living's feelings, but also the feelings of the dead. You know, they can communicate really well. Different levels of it.
So she
She's
picked
really
up
good.
readings?
Yeah, so she was answering whatever entity it was. Like one of the questions we said, do you like art? And I heard the answer in my head.
The person art.
Yeah, the person art. So I heard the answer in my head, and then I said it, and she said it at the same time I did. Said, do you like art? No. Why don't you like art? He's an asshole. That's exactly what we both said, and we both
Not
like
wrong.
art. Yeah. Art's cool, you know.
Yeah, no,
It's
he's
like-
cool. He's cool.
I love you, Art. I mean, but we were like, let's take a break. We need to go outside. And so we needed to go.
I'd be like, yo, you
discuss
know
it.
what, dude? I need to find another hobby.
Yeah, that was a spooky house,
My brother.
and we never cured it.
Holy shit, bro.
Yeah.
Respect to that.
That's
because
crazy. That's crazy. Well, guys, this is what we're gonna do right now, man. I'm getting too spooked out right now.
Gotta drive home alone.
Yeah, we're gonna move towards the back end of this podcast, and we're gonna get into a fan favorite, our trending topics. Danny, can you put some music on, please? And while it plays, Chewy, take it away, my guy.
On today's trending topics, guys.
You're alright, Chewy? Wake up, Chewy. You're scared, huh? He's scared. Échale ganas, güey.
On today's trending topics, there's been another failure of engine brakes going down Trans Mountain.
Oh,
that was
my
crazy.
god.
Did you see that?
So via FitFam says,
Heard about it.
so footage has surfaced on the moments leading up to a massive accident scene currently on I-10 350 loop, also known as Trans Mountain. This is not a repost for all this. So if you can go on there, basically it shows you a clip of this semi. It's like on the road, and it's trying so hard to stay on the road, and it just loses its balance and it just flies into the
Yeah, if people don't know where this is at, this is off Trans Mountain going to
the
the
Dairy
west side.
Queen.
Yeah, there's
If
that
you're
towards the
heading
Dairy Queen. But it's not the first time this happened. I know it's happened a couple of times. One of the time was a Miller Lite truck,
Miller Lite truck.
and so there was Miller Lite
I
everywhere
would
and
have been loved
stuff.
to be behind that one.
But I do believe that somebody did die during that one.
This is the third time in 2 years.
Yeah, so that's crazy, man. I think they need to. I know there's like these like a
Runaway tramps.
runaway ramps that they have. I haven't seen one like when it's down that close, but it's dangerous, man. I think that could have been a lot worse. I think right now it's just because we have construction going on. There wasn't really any vehicles that got affected other than the 18-wheeler itself. But
The crazy part is someone commented, shout out Jade1329. She said, my dad saw the whole thing happen. He said the semi's brakes were smoking, and I guess he tried to drive into the dirt and slow down. He said the semi went up in the dirt patch and basically launched himself into the air. Must have been going fast to slow down.
Well, yeah, coming down that ramp. I mean,
Yeah,
even
and
if
no
you're
brakes?
If you're off the gas, no brakes, you're gonna pick up speed.
yeah.
You're definitely gonna pick up speed there.
That's crazy. Have you ever driven an 18-wheeler or anything like that? Something like that big in your career?
No,
No, dude.
airplanes, but I mean,
Oh shit, dude.
Damn. Top.
See a UFO up there?
Oh, that's right. He was in the Air Force. Yeah.
No, never. Because I know a lot of people from like the Air Force and things like that. They're the ones that usually have those sightings. But you never knew anybody or saw like a UFO.
well, I saw them when I was a little kid, and I had forgotten about it till my mom reminded me recently, and she's like, "Oh, you remember seeing this over by Oro Grande?" And I was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, I do." And it looked like, I think it was 3 footballs, like when a football faces you. And so it looked like footballs facing us. They're kind of circular, and they had these like lines in it and stuff. But and they they were like brown. Like the center part was brown. So I couldn't. I was like 3. So I'm just remembering back, but it cut itself into my memory. So everybody freaked out. I'm hiding behind my mom. I don't want to look at these anymore. Like, get me out of here. And
That's crazy.
then so we get in the car. Everybody's like, "Oh, I think it's from White Sands. It's something they're working on over there." And so we get in the car, and my dad tells my mom, "That's not one of ours," because he was working on that stuff, that secret stuff, whatever. And he goes, "That's not ours." So I did see that, and then another time I didn't see it because they started mentioning it. I got scared and I ducked down, underneath the seat type thing. and they were driving my brother to El Paso from Alamogordo, and so they're hauling ass because he was sick, and something was keeping up with us on the side of the road. You know, on the other side, you know how you got that fence right there?
Yeah.
And it was on the other side in the desert, keeping up with us, and it was scaring the hell out of him. So.
Damn, that is
Ghosts
crazy.
and UFOs.
Ghosts and UFOs.
Why is New Mexico always an attractive spot for UFO?
The education level.
Activity.
That's a dad.
Yeah,
That's a jam.
I suspect them because I ain't trying to get like nuts.
Because everybody's high and they're like,
But
they're
that
never
type
going to
of
believe them.
activity, why is it always in New Mexico?
I don't know. You know, you got
Bunch of hippies out there.
Yeah, you got the Four Corners area up there. You have a lot of, like up in Santa Fe, you have some, I don't know. It's
Roswell?
Yeah, you got Roswell. You got all kinds of stuff all tied together. Right
Crackheads in Albuquerque. Yeah, dude, you got them all.
They're
Dude.
all
It's all
there.
fucking weird.
And they're all attracted by the weird energies
Yeah.
there. So it might be something to do with the energy.
That's crazy. All right, Chewy, what's up next, guy? There's and guys, we're getting all this local trending news off of FitFam. Shout out to FitFam.
Real fit family.
So you guys make sure to follow FitFam, man. These guys are dope. So Chewy, what's up next? What is this?
The iconic El Paso Boxing Hall of Fame mural is currently being removed
From Del
from the
Soto.
side of the former Del Soto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is crazy. When was that put up? That was put up like in the 60s or 50s, that mural,
No,
or
they couldn't
before
have-
I
70s?
think this is in the 90s.
Yeah, in the 90s. Because
Oh, really?
they have Oscar De La Hoya there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have a bunch of...
So the first comment, shout out Alec Majestic. They're adding Jake Paul now.
I don't know if you guys know what we're talking about. We'll put up a picture, but there's a mural in downtown El Paso on Del Soto Hotel that recently burned up. That's what we're talking about just now. But on the side, there's a parking lot, and you can see a big mural of boxers, of local boxers and famous boxers and stuff like that. And after it burned down, the city said that I guess there's too damaged for it to be repaired, so they're bringing it down. That's pretty sad to see, man. It's
well, I mean, they're not necessarily, and like you said, there are some local, but they're all just Hispanic.
Yeah.
So which is
Latinos.
it's really prideful. And I mean, it's
Renovation.
especially. But I'm wondering, are they taking it down to
Forever?
make a new one? Because I hope so. They have
probably not, knowing about how the city works
What are your
sometimes.
thoughts?
and
Y'all need
stuff.
to put it somewhere else.
Thoughts? Do you want it back, or would you like a redo, or would you just like?
Well, you know, it was-
On to, thank
would-
you very much, and we'll see you later.
Yeah, I wish he was more of a, you know, I wish they would have kept up with it.
Yeah.
And kept touching it up because it was starting to get real rough.
Canelo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the thing with the thing with the taking it off is stucco right there, right? Like a little bit of thin concrete or something right there that they painted on, and underneath that you have the brick and you have the mortar, and that building was built in 1904, you know, and that brick and mortar is starting to get rotten, and you know it's the structure is such that it's outside. The how do you call that? And it's like externally stabilized.
Right.
You know, all the weight and stuff sits on the outside. So if those bricks are weak and the mortar's weak, that
It'll
building's
tumble.
weak.
I mean, it looks like they're repairing it right now. When we were there, we were talking outside on Friday. We saw that there was new windows up, and so you could tell that they're repairing it. I mean, it's good. I think that's good that they're repairing it. But how safe is it gonna be? Because it's so old and all the damage that it's gone through. But what's so funny when we were there is Leon tells everybody like, so guys, if you guys are looking up, and then while you guys are looking up, and you guys see some faces or something pop up,
It's a crackhead.
let me know so I could bring out my camera and record it. You know? I was like, oh shit! Like I thought he was gonna say like fucking run or start praying or something. He's like, no, let me know and I'll start recording.
Yeah, I want to see it too.
Yeah, but that's crazy, man. Fuck, it's sad. It's sad to see when you see something that's been around like, you know, most of my life. I was born in 1990, so you know I'd seen that for, you know, a few
Damn.
times, and yeah, I know, dude. But it's silly. My back hurts, dude. But yeah, like to see things like that, like, you know, be removed. You know, you're not gonna see that stuff again. It's a little sad, man. It's a little sad, but we'll see. Hopefully, good things come to that place. I wanna. If you ever go back and do like another, you know, go check it out and see if there's any ghosts out there. I want you to invite us, man. I want you to invite us. I want to put all these equipment on Chewy because I feel like they're gonna reach out to Chewy. I think Chewy's the
You're gonna
type of guy
feed off
that
his
like
energy.
if ghosts see him, they just want to grab on and
Yeah, he's like the light to the moths.
Last,
he's
they
gonna
just want to
attract
like.
them.
Oh yeah, we can definitely use him as bait.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give me some dulces.
Yeah, give me your popcorn, boy. But all right, Chewy, what's the next and last topic, real quick?
A bunch of people have been calling. Several false 911 calls were made of an armed individual in a different location this morning, and that was including the hospital at the Trans Mountain.
That's right. I don't know if you guys.
False. Somebody wasn't. They
Yeah, I think there was some planning.
Yeah,
Some group or maybe one person planned something and made different calls about gunmen in the building, and one of those was the hospital there at Trans Mountain.
Trying to swat him.
And they try, I guess so. And there's videos all over
everyone
FitFam
was evacuated.
of police officers and law enforcement going through the whole hospital.
That's
And
so sad, man. Especially because of what happened to the city before, a couple years ago.
yeah, not
like-
just that, but a fucking hospital, bro. Like, there's sick ass people there, like, you know, and then like now they have to stop what they're doing just to make sure that the building is safe. And
Yeah, imagine your tia are going through something, your grandma, and then busting.
you know what, dude? I'm gonna talk to our boy Leon here, and I'm gonna try and get a spirit to fucking get these guys. Whoever made that call, I know these spirits know. We're gonna call them up. Do us a favor, man. Get these motherfuckers.
That's witchcraft. We don't do that.
Art does that.
All right,
Blame art.
hey, all right, we're gonna hit you up here soon. But all right, guys, that was fun, man. This is what we're gonna do now. We're gonna go around the table now. We're gonna give our last final thoughts on this episode. We're gonna start off with our boy Chewy. I want to know how Chewy's feeling right now.
Some spooky season, spooky ass shit, bro. But honestly, brother, I respect what you do, what you like, what you're happy about. That's intense. Like,
Thanks.
oh, you way. Fuck. You know, it's not for everybody, bro. But we're human and we gotta experience.
All right, Chewy. If our boy Leon here invites you to a tour, would you attend it?
Yeah, I'm on time. I'm on
Your own
like,
time?
Yeah, no, like I can't just say no. You know, I'll be like, yeah, bro.
Well, we're leaving right now. We're gonna go to Paso
Let's
Ghost.
Just go down the hall here.
Hey, dude, I was gonna say, are you feeling anything in here, man? Because dude, nobody's here.
Nah, I'd be down, bro. But honestly, bro, don't expect me to stay there. I was gonna say one question. Like, what's the funniest or like you're like someone couldn't hack it? Like,
You?
they screamed or they
You
shot
didn't even show up.
Yeah. So this guy decided he was gonna crash our tour, right? And I saw what was going on, so I was gonna use him as bait. And so some guy from Juarez, and so he came downstairs with us. And so as soon as we turned the light off, and he just started freaking out really bad. And this couple that was there, lucky for him, this couple that was there were like, "Hey, we can't handle it. We got to go. We got to get out of here. We can't do this." And so they left, and that guy was right behind him, man. He ran over there. I was like, "Yeah, man, I was gonna use that guy for bait, man. That was a bit." And over there, it would have worked.
Yeah, it's not, like I said, it's not really for everyone, but if you're somebody that wants to experience it, or even just to hear the history, because Leon here does a great job, like explaining the history and stuff.
It's not for the faint of heart.
It's not that it's for everybody, but if you're human, which we all are, you gotta realize the shit's around us, so we gotta experience it.
Yeah, unless you're a
Can't be a
dog.
pussy, like,
Also, if you're a dog, I
see
think.
it.
Yeah.
You just gotta, you know, oh man.
It's all right, it's all right.
Like, we're not gonna go, bro. We're not gonna make you go.
No,
Relax.
We gotta go, 'cause, like, as humans, we gotta knock it out the fucking ballpark.
You got it there, Chewy. That's why I love Chewy, man. That's why he's my friend. But all right, Danny. Final thoughts on this.
Final thoughts is, again, thank you so much for coming out, and I really enjoyed this. I love getting scared. So next time, whenever you have a tour, I'll definitely be there. I was kind of out of town, so I apologize for that. But again, thank you so much for what you do. I'm excited to see what you have in the future, and again, continue to educate the people here in El Paso about the rich history that we have, and definitely excited to see you again.
Right on.
Yeah. Good job, Danny. Good job. Good words right there. Mr. Leon, any final words, sir?
Yeah, if you want to go on a paranormal investigation in a safe manner, legally,
Legally.
and work with us, you know, and learn about the equipment, about the hauntings, about the, you know, a little bit about the spirit world, and some just a drop of El Paso history, which takes us like an hour and a half just to learn that one single tiny drop of our history. Yeah, come to us.
Can I show up to the history class now?
Round of applause, dude. Thank you so much, Mr. Leon. Final words from you guys. Thank you so much for everybody watching and listening. Shout out to our new followers. We've gotten about 1,500 new followers in the past week. You guys are amazing. Welcome to the Takeover Show. Mr. Leon, thank you so much, man. I had a great time on our tour. Kevin, my brother Seth, our boy Kerry had a great time. We learned a lot. I want to do it again for sure. I'll go in the off season just to experience it. Thank you so much. You're always welcome to come back anytime to our show. Everybody watching and listening, guys, please make sure you guys support. Go learn some history. Go get scared. Go see what's up. If you guys have some trouble with some paranormal activity, and maybe reach out to our boy Leon. Maybe he could go out there and investigate and see what you guys have. And at the same time, maybe we could go too and send our boy Chewy to record it and
You
stuff.
don't call Ghostbusters. You call El Paso Ghost Tours.
Yes, sir. That's right. You
They're
gotta.
called spirits, bro. They're not called ghosts.
Oh, that's right. They're called spirits. Oh, Paso Spirit Tours.
You're gonna have to rebrand, brother.
But don't forget, if you guys want to go check out these badass merch, check out
merch. Where can we get these?
Yeah, all their info is going to be in the caption below, guys. Thank you so much. And also, guys, remember, please make sure you guys are following, subscribing, liking, sharing. Streaming, yes. Shout out to Ducci. Shout out to everybody here. Next Gen Sports, thank you so much.
If you ever need a jersey or anything, all Spurs gear is available now. Next Gen Sports.
You said it. Hey, one more time, guys. Thank you so much. You guys make sure to stay safe and stay fresh.